The second lesson I learned in sales that helped me be successful in stand-up comedy is that most of the work that you do is really preparing to work. Let me explain. In sales, the only work that matters is when you're live in front of a potential customer, sharing the story of the product, introducing them to the features and the benefits, and then asking them for the order. But to get to that point, there's a lot of work. And that work can seem important. It can consume a lot of time, but it's really preparing for work. Let me explain farther. To get to that point, you need to book the appointment. But how do you book the appointment? You have to prospect. In the selling company I was in, the sales company I was in, we sold cookware, which meant we had to find people to give demonstrations to show them how the cookware worked. One of the ways we did that was we would go out and we would give away salads. We would knock on doors, we would go into businesses and ask them if they wanted to have a fresh salad. Now, oftentimes you would have to do that in the evening, which was also the time you would have to give the presentation. So they coincided. So you had to figure out, I need to do this work, the giving away the salads, so that I can really work, and that is giving a presentation. And in comedy, it was no different. The work was actually being on stage, telling your jokes in front of a live audience. But to get to that point, you had to sit down and spend a lot of time, invest a lot of time in writing out your material. And then you had to spend some time practicing that material, which is, again, one of the reasons why I joined Toastmasters. And then you had to find a place to perform that material, so you had to network, you had to do some marketing, and you had to build relationships with show promoters, people who would book shows, or if you were in the corporate market like I was, you would have to go to businesses and talk to them about the benefits of having a comedy show for their employees, maybe join the Chamber of Commerce, but you had to do a lot of work, a lot of activity that amounted to you being able to really perform the job of the salesperson or the job of the comic. So I tell you all that to say this. You need to get really good at the work that leads to the real work. In sales, you need to be really good at getting the appointment. You need to be really good at giving the presentation. You need to get really good at the follow-up. And you need to be efficient at it so that you can get to the real work, giving the presentation and earning your income. In comedy, you need to be really good at generating material, good material. If you're trying to get paid as a comic, one of the best ways to get paid is corporate audiences. They have money. A lot of comedy clubs don't pay very well. So in that environment, you need good, clean material, corporate clean material. Otherwise, they're not going to pay you. You also need to be able to market yourself, and you need to show what is the benefit to my audience of having a comedy show, of entertaining them. It has to be more than just the laugh. So sometimes you have to build in a message within the framework of your comedy. Again, that takes work, but you need to be good at that, because being good at that leads to the work of getting paid to do a presentation. All right, so let's recap real quick the second lesson I learned in sales that helped me be successful in stand-up comedy. A lot of activity is spent that seems like work but isn't really work. In sales, the work is being in front of a potential customer, giving a demonstration with the features and benefits of the product. And in comedy, the work is being on stage and performing your material for a live audience, and hopefully that's paid. Everything else you do is important. It's fundamental. You need to be really good at that work that launches you into the work that matters. Do that, and you will be successful in sales and in stand-up comedy.